Okay, let's continue on. We'll start off by just cleaning up our layers here, giving everything a name. Something like that, and it might be good to put all of that into a group. We'll call that vinyl. Great, okay, let's carry on and make the rest of our sleeve and a background and so on. So I'm going to go to canvas size and make the size of our canvas a bit bigger. We'll take it up to 200 by 1500, so that's going to be like a 3:4 aspect ratio. And we can move our vinyl around that space. I'm going to make a shape. It's going to be about oops. I'm going to make a shape layer. I'm going to make a shape layer that's around about record sleeve size. So just holding shift down, drag that out, and there's our shape layer. And that's going to be our sleeve. We can position these objects kind of more centrally. That's looking good. And so this is going to be our cover. And I'm going to make that into a smart object while we're here. Convert that to a smart object. Put our graphics in there later on. We'll add in a background, which is going to be a solid color. And this is going to be nice and editable. And we'll just make it a grey at this point. Pop that into the, oops, not into the vinyl, but right at the back there. Call this BG. I think we'll need a bit of a shadow, I suppose. So just very quickly, we'll make a selection based on that square. You can do this a whole bunch of ways. I'm going to make a solid color, which is black. And I'm going to transform that. We'll start off by just free transforming it, holding shift down. And then maybe from this point we could add the perspective. We could do something like that. And blur it. Maybe not so much. And also we'll use the gradient tool. Set to black, and we'll just blend that off a little bit. And drop down the transparency. So that's good. Another thing is I want a little bit of a shadow behind the sleeve or the cover across the record itself. And I'm going to do that by doing the same sort of thing, making an ellipse here that's going to be a shape layer, solid color, solid fill layer. Put it in front of the vinyl and just blur that again as well. Drop down the opacity just so we get that kind of separation between those two things. And I'm just nudging it out of the way a little bit there. Awesome. So one last thing that we'll do is add a bit of reflection. So I'm going to grab these 3 items here and I'm going to group those together. We'll call this record. Alright, and we'll grab another, duplicate that whole set, and we'll call this reflection. And we'll transform all of that, and we'll flip it vertically, so it's kind of upside down, and we'll drag it so that it connects right there with our actual record. I'll call that reflection. Okay, and we'll drop the opacity of that right off, and we'll also add a layer mask, and using the gradient again, we'll inside that layer mask we'll just cut that back a little bit, as if it's kind of falling off. So that's looking good. The last thing that I need to do really is go into the cover and drop my art in there. So I've got my art here, and going into that smart object, popping it into the center there. Might need to be a little bit bigger. Save off the smart object, close it down, and then there it is in our space there, and you can see that we've got that reflection inside the vinyl section there. Finally, to finish this off, I might make that background, adjust that. I think that our shadow could be a little bit more refined, but it'll do for now. Finally, to make this kind of a useful editable mock-up, I'm going to take out or duplicate the cover, Command J, and I'm going to pop that right at the top of the layer stack. And I'm also going to get the label and duplicate that and pop that right at the top of the layer stack as well. Now this is where we can we could get this stuff here, group it, and say, because if we're updating this mock-up with new artwork, we don't really need to muck around with that stuff. We just need to change the background color, or change the artwork in these 2 smart objects. So we could put Alright, so all we need to do to update this to a new record, and we'll turn those off actually so that we don't see them, is update these 2 smart objects. So I could double click on this smart object and make a change like so, or put some new artwork in here, save that off and close it up, and it will be updated inside our artwork here, and it'll also update in our reflection there. Probably don't want to do that. I'm going to turn that off. Go back to our finished record sleeve editable mock-up. Thanks for following along. Catch you soon.